want to start?
Sure. I'm Paul French, and I live in Portland, Maine currently, and growing up, I've lived in the United States my whole life. I was born here, and we moved around different parts of the United States a lot when I was growing up, and ended up in this area when I was about 13. So I've lived here since then.
My name is Anwar Fayez Ali. I was born in Iraq, and I traveled all around the Middle East to get here. And 17, one of my good friends told me about PCS. I was more of like a video game kid or like a soccer kid, but I tried it out. I met Paul.
During the quarantine lockdown, we couldn't do traditional training and squash. We couldn't be on court for a while, so we would do visits to people's families and just go spend a couple hours. Like either we were supposed to be reading or something like that, but mostly we just hung out and sometimes we were riding bikes and out in the woods and just taking walks and things like that. So a lot of conversations happened there, and we just got to know each other pretty well. We learned to trust each other, I think. My mother passed away about 1.5 years ago, and he showed up. He had his mother drive him over and show up to the funeral, and that meant a lot to me. I really appreciated it. And they also invited me over for a meal after fasting during Ramadan. And I remember, we sat there for a couple hours eating a massive amount of delicious food that his mother prepared, and his father, said, you're like part of our family, and that really, really meant a lot to me.
He's been teaching me new things, like taught me a lot about squash, because I wasn't taking it serious when I was a kid. But yeah, he got me through a lot.
Probably the best qualities I can try to have as a good mentor would be a good listener. Have patience, and just take the time to build trust.
Just like Paul said, we need to come together and help each other out. You never know, somebody can be in his darkest times. We got to be there for that person.
What I love about Anwar is he's solid, he's honest, he speaks from the heart and lives from his heart, and he's a fun guy. He's a great athlete. He's really positive and just brings energy to everybody around him.
He just gives me so much confidence. Like, I can be the strongest in the world. I can be the biggest guy in the room. What would you say? He's a W Mans. He's a really cool. I'm so glad he's been in my life for a while, and he taught me so much. He's gonna be in my kids' birthday parties one day.
I am Khadija. I usually say Khadija, so people can pronounce it and don't struggle pronouncing it. So, but I am Khadija, and I am from Morocco. She's from Morocco. I moved here actually 2 days ago. Was 3 years ago. I moved to join my spouse, but also to pursue my international schooler for my PhD program.
So my name is Adela Muhammad, and I am the executive director of an organization called Third Place, which is a cross-sector networking organization that provides social and professional opportunities for Black Mainers. I came to Maine via Georgia, where I was born and raised, and I've been here for over 20 years now. I, like Khadija, have a spouse who is from Maine.
When I first moved here, I was a little isolated in my place, and I tried to learn something new, and that's what led me to meet Adila. Is I learned how to swim. We met at the YWCA single gender swimming class. After the swim class, I wanted to ask I didn't know a lot of people, and I don't know, there was a lot of women there, but I walked into Adila and asked her, do you know anything happening here for Eid? I'm not sure what people do here for Eid. And she invited me to one of her events. I didn't know the Third Place. I didn't know she was Adila. the executive director and founder of the Third Place. I had no idea, but I showed up and I kept showing up. And
similarly to Khadija, I was, feeling like I wanted to connect to more people. I'm always someone who is looking for people to connect to. And we started out more so as friends than as mentors and mentees. But as we've moved into a more working relationship, we have become mentor and mentee. That was new to me when she said, "Will you be my mentor?" I was just like, oh, okay. But the friendship was foundational. And I live in Lewiston. She had lived in Auburn at the time. And it was just really, really nice to have someone close who had the same type of ideas about building community and connecting in small ways. We all need those small connections to help us get through the day.
She's always been there for me, to like someone I can call, someone that I can meet for lunch and talk about everything that I feel about this new world. She was there to listen and guide and just give me a little hope over for the community.
When I think about most of the people who mentored me, they were not my formal mentors. They didn't know that I had this idea about them. And so I think that, the way we show up is really how we share our perspectives and how we share our skills in ways that connect with someone else.
Shall I start?
You please.
Okay. So my name is Tarlan Amadov, and I originally born in city of Baku in Azerbaijan, which was a part of the Soviet Union by that time. About 20 years ago, I immigrated here with my wife, and we had 2 children born in Maine, and now we established our life here. Actually, very interesting. I also was in almost 46 countries in the world, and Maine has a different meaning for me. I feel I am welcomed, I feel at home.
My name is Mahir Hasanov. I'm also originally from Azerbaijan, from Baku. I moved to the United States 11 years ago, and I met Tarlan 10 years ago.
Every mentor has their own mentors. For me, my mentor was my mother. She raised 4 children alone, with all courageous and being a very brave woman. And for me, it was always important to look at her, and she was my role model. Being a role model, she also teach me to be kind to people, supportive to people. So helping Mahir and many other people, if I can do something, it's rewarding for me. It makes me so happy. It's a satisfaction to my well-being.
I learned from you how to give back to community is very important. He's a big brother for all of us. And we need a lot of Tarlans in community, like...
Oh my gosh. I would say that don't give up, number one. When we are trying to learn something and be adjusting ourselves or integrating, this is not an easy way. It has a lot of obstacles, but by the patience and determination, perseverance, we are able to reach our goals.
Don't afraid of asking questions. Don't afraid for reaching out. Like whatever you're going through, there is always help. And there is wonderful people around you. Like can be your neighbor, can be community members. And can be someone at Hannaford store, you meet someone, they always people have resources, people have great idea.
I tell to our community members, why I am actually here, why you came here, what is our purpose? When I see he is growing and it is really helping him, I can do for another people. So it's encouraging me to not stop, but actually do stuff. And of course, he also gives me some feedback. I accept it. This is 2 ways. Relationships. It is cross kind of cultural or cross generational, whatever you can say. This relationships is really helping us to, to be who we are.
One of the things I appreciate about you, Tarlan, is your role model. You're such a great example for all of us, especially young generation. You have a big heart, you care, you love, and we're just so lucky to have you in our community. Thank you. Thanks for everything.
Thank you. And Mahir, what I really cannot say highlight in you as being a great friend, being always open for feedback, and striving. I just look at you and I'm always happy. So you do every day something better than yesterday.
Thanks a lot.
Yeah, you guys are awesome.
Thank you.